Hello, good evening Europe, good morning Australia. It's ESC Fan TV here, ready to preview the Junior Eurovision Song Contest that is being held in Poland on Sunday. Now, I've got four very eager panellists with me this evening, but let's get the business out of the way first. Don't forget, click the like, click the subscribe button. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are all over the place. We are even podcasting on. Now, Stuart, you're going to have to correct me on this because I'll get it wrong. Is it Snitcher or Stitcher?
It's Stitcher. The one and only Stitcher, Tom. But don't forget Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, isn't it? Apple Podcast, Spotify, and the great Stitcher.
Which is marvellous because, let's face it, if you're thinking to yourself, I've just snuggled up in bed and I really need to get some sleep, that's great. Listen to us on the way to work tomorrow. But don't forget the like and subscribe button whilst you're there as well. Now, let's, without further ado, introduce my panellists. And first of all, let's go over to my co-host, Stuart. Good evening, Stuart.
Good evening, Tom. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well. Are you anywhere special at the moment?
Yeah, but you know what? I thought I'd fly out to Poland just for tonight's broadcast, Tom. So here I am in the stadium when security couldn't catch me. I'm still in. They've all gone to bed. I'm still here.
Yeah, it looks impressive. Anyone would think it was your garden shed. Also on the panel this evening, we've got the very knowledgeable Tristan. Good evening, Tristan.
Hello there. Good evening. I'm looking forward to tonight.
Fantastic. Now, also, we've got Curtis from OJ Australia, our friends over there. Hey, Curtis.
Hi, how's everyone going?
Really well. Now, what time is it in Australia?
Oh, God, I don't know. I'm in Poland, so...
There we go. See, Stuart, someone who's actually in Poland.
Yes.
Very early in the morning now, I think, in Australia.
7 a.m.
There we go. Well, you're in Poland, which is fantastic. Absorbing the Junior Eurovision experience. And also, our man with a plan, interviewing the contestants, had a fantastic interview with Jordan from Australia earlier today. Good evening to Nicholas.
Good evening. I'm having a lovely time here. I mean, I have Arena Gliwice almost in the backyard of this hotel. I thought I heard some glass breaking earlier. That could have been Stuart. But yeah, it's lovely being here, and I'm having a lot of fun in the press center doing all these great things for ESC Fan TV.
Brilliant. Now, the first topic of conversation, Nicholas, is basically, I mean, it's over to you. I mean, what is the vibe like in Poland at the moment?
Well, I think things are going really well. Everyone seems very excited. There's a lot of great feelings in the press room. We're seeing a lot of the artists who just come by, wants to say hello to us and give interviews. It's a really nice atmosphere. Everyone is eager to be there and listen to the songs, and we've had a chance to see the rehearsals today, and they've all been really good. It's just the stage is fantastic. It really is. It's big and it's really well designed, and we're
we got it.
It's great on camera. I think we have coming.
Yeah, we have a few connection issues with you there, Nicholas. We'll come back to you in a minute, but it sounds.
I think the Wi-Fi is better this end.
Yeah, but then look at Curtis. Curtis,
I'm on my phone internet, so I had to switch off the Wi-Fi.
Now, Curtis, are you there with OJ Australia at the moment?
Yes. So I'm the only Australian press at Junior Eurovision. So it's a tough gig being a one-man team, but it's been great working with other press organisations, including Nicholas from ESC Fan TV. It's been great working with you, Nicholas. It's been heaps of fun. And yeah, I just have to echo what Nicholas has been saying. It's been really chill. It's been really nice getting to know the kids. We have little chats here and there. Like Anna today walked past and we had a chat about a rehearsal and how she's been going. And it's been a great atmosphere. It's been wonderful.
Now, one thing certainly we commented on, I know Stuart commented on when he was out in Tel Aviv in May, was how the artists seem to get a bit nervous and a bit tired as time goes by. Is that something you've seen with the kids, or are the kids kind of just powering through to get the job done.
Yeah, they're all very nervous. Like who wouldn't be? We're nervous too, but they still seem very eager. We've had a few kids who've come under weather. Erin's not feeling too well and hasn't been able to do any more interviews for the time being. And poor Denborough has fallen ill as well at his first rehearsal. So I hope everything's going well with him as well. It's really quite touching and very sad and hits close to home because I know these kids, and it's hard that these kids are starting to get a little tired and are having these health issues. So I hope they stay relaxed and just have a nice time.
And Nicholas, back to you. Let's be very British about this. I apologise. What's the weather like over there?
Well, I mean, the weather's fine. It's better than Denmark, at least. But like, there is a great energy here, and I think Curtis said it as well. It's just great being here, and I think everyone's really enjoying their time here. And I've asked some of the contestants, and they seem like they're having a great fun time here, seeing some of Poland. So that's really nice to hear.
I have to say, with the weather, the last time I went to Poland, there was about a foot of snow. I was hoping you were going to say there's been loads of snow, and we've all had a massive snowball fight.
I was expecting that. I was expecting snow. I was like, I'm going to go to Poland. It's going to be cold. So I brought all my like winter clothes and my winter jacket. And I'm just like walking around the city. It's just been too much wearing my winter jacket. And I didn't expect that at all.
Wow. that is actually quite... yeah, I'm going to go with unheard of. I mean, it's freezing over here in the UK.
12 degrees Celsius and sunny. Like, what more can you ask for at this time of year?
Blimey. Now, obviously, you guys are in the press centre. You've seen the rehearsals today. What's the plan for the rest of this week ahead of the contest on Saturday?
Who wants to go first? I'll go first. Yeah, so tomorrow is probably going to echo like today. Again, today I spent, for each rehearsal, I spent half of the rehearsal time in the arena actually watching the artist on stage because I just love the arena and seeing it live. And then I spent the rest of the time watching the live feed on the television. Tomorrow's going to echo that. And then on the weekend, we have the jury final and the dress rehearsal, like the final dress rehearsal thing. And then we have the live show on Sunday at 4 p.m. Central European time, or in Australia, 2 a.m.
And do you think there will be many Australians spending their Monday morning watching Junior Eurovision?
Well, I hope so. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But hopefully with some of our promotion and yeah, more Australians tune in because it's a great show and I hope they don't miss it. We have a delayed broadcast as well. At 6
Do you know what? That was my next question. I was going to say you must be doing a delayed broadcast somewhere along the line.
Yes. Most Australians will be watching the 6 p.m. delayed broadcast on ABC Me.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking of particularly the children that will watch it, and maybe there will be some out there that want to represent Australia next year.
Yeah.
But I can't see their parents wanting them to be up at 2 a.m. in the morning to watch it. 6 p.m. sounds a lot more reasonable.
Yeah.
A lot more reasonable. And Nicholas, in terms of what you're doing for ESC Fan TV, what can we look forward to over the next couple of days?
Well, first of all, I did a few interviews today that you have not seen yet. So I've talked to Mataviola from Italy, and I've talked to Anna from Ireland, and I've also talked to Carla from France. And all those will be going up on the ESC Fan TV YouTube channel tomorrow. I have a few interviews planned for tomorrow as well. I'm going to be talking to Effie, who represented Albania last year. So there's a lot of fun things going on, and I will also try to like do my little recaps of the rehearsals, who has had the best second rehearsals and stuff like that. Yeah.
Which is absolutely fantastic. And keep yourselves tuned, people, to the ESC Fan TV YouTube channel throughout the weekend, where a lot more of Nicholas's content will be uploaded. Now, we're going to move on, besides you guys living it up in Poland, and we're going to take a look at the rehearsals. Now, guys, there may be some eagle-eyed viewers of you that may be thinking Tristan is sat there, and you might be thinking I'm ignoring him. And you know what, people? You'd be right. And this is only because Tristan has made a conscious decision this year to go into Junior Eurovision as blind as a bat. Yes, he is taking off his glasses for a few days and steering clear of the rehearsals. So, Tristan, this is my spoiler warning to you. Okay, that there may be some spoilers involved for you. But what do you think? What do you think the big advantage for you is going to be of actually going into it kind of blind this year?
Well, I never actually watched the rehearsals of the main Eurovision either, so I'm used to that. I mean, I read everything up about it as much as possible, but I don't. So I know. I just really like the surprise in a way, because that's part of the whole experience. That's obviously how we used to live it in the days before the internet. And in a way, I just find that knowing too much about it kind of doesn't spoil it. I mean, it's such a fantastic show anyway, but it just takes away a little bit of the fun out of it. So I personally quite like to keep just that bit, just the visual. I mean, I've obviously seen all the national finals. I've read up all the bios and everything all about the running order and whatever. But the actual visuals on the event itself, I like to keep that as a surprise. But I'm happy to hear about it as long as I don't see it.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm totally on board with that. And do you know what? For those people that are interested in that, we'll be interested in your opinions as well. Do you actually watch the rehearsals, or are you, like Tristan, just trying to preserve some element of surprise for Sunday evening? But someone I do know who has been watching the rehearsals, obviously, because he's apparently in the arena, wrapped up well as well. I see Stuart as well for it. Is Stuart. Now, Stuart, what's been the standout rehearsals for you so far?
The reason I'm wrapped up, Tom, is it's actually quite cold. They've turned the air conditioning on, so I thought I better wear a jumper. It might be 12 degrees outside in Poland, but it's bloody freezing in here. Let me tell you. What do I think has been the standout performance in the rehearsals? I think. Can I just say, firstly, all 19 acts have done brilliantly so far. I think this is a really strong year for Junior Eurovision. I think it's a very credible year for Junior Eurovision, and I don't think it's a cliche, but they're all winners. But I think that's a real fair message to put across. I've been really impressed, not just because he's on the show, but genuinely by Australia this year. I think Australia, we're going to talk about running order later, but they've got a really good performance. Jordan Anstey has a phenomenal voice. He really sells his song and performance really well. I'm a big fan of the Kazakhstan lad. I think Yurzim is a fantastic performer. Some of the notes he performs and nails, I might add, quite incredible. Vicky of Poland, another standout performance. I'm a big fan of North Macedonia as well. I mean, if ever there was a chance for North Macedonia to win a Eurovision event, this could be it. And Armenia, very much a standout performance. Finally, Ireland, a bit underrated. There's not a lot of talk about Ireland winning a Junior Eurovision this year, but Anna Kearney can really sing and can really sell. And this is a very strong, so almost retro Irish entry. Something we've not heard from Ireland for quite some time in any Eurovision setup. And this is the sort of thing I could see Ireland really excelling at normal Eurovision, at adult Eurovision. But we're talking about Junior Eurovision, and Anna stands a very good chance of a very good position on the scoreboard this Sunday.
It'll be quite interesting to see where our Irish friends come along. Just go across to Nicholas. Now, you've said rehearsals took place today. One of the questions we've had in the chat, were all the countries rehearsing today, or are they staggering rehearsals? How does it actually work?
So, first of all, apologies if my connection is a little bit bad. I'll try to get through it. The internet's a little bit hit or miss here. But so we've seen 10 acts today, I believe. They do it in alphabetical order in the second rehearsal. So we've seen from Albania up until Malta. Those are the ones we've seen today. And like from those, I think I want to mention two that I've seen today that really stood out for me. The first one being Kazakhstan. They're throwing everything into this. And you know what? They're actually succeeding with it. This is a beautiful performance. I will let Stuart know that he is hitting those notes perfectly in the arena as well. It's really great to see, and Kazakhstan is really putting in the effort for this, trying to mimic what they're doing in the music video with this whole fairy tale universe. It's beautiful. The second one I want to mention, that is Armenia. Armenia really stood out for me today because I made a review on this channel about the Armenian song when it won the national final. I said what I want from her performance in Gliwice is that I want to see more colors on stage, and I want to see her move around more. I want to see the dancers move around more. They're doing all these things. There's more color, there's more fun. They have dancers, and she's performing very well. They have the whole package, and I'm very excited to see how I will play. I think this could go into the top 5, or maybe.
Very interesting. Something to certainly keep an eye on. Moving on to Curtis, have there been any significant changes between any of the first and second rehearsals?
Well, we weren't able to see much of the first rehearsals, only snippets. So, and I was very busy doing a lot of interviews myself on OGA Australia to actually really analyze the first rehearsals. So for me, the second rehearsals feel like the first rehearsals, especially because the press center wasn't open until today. So I can't really identify any of the changes. All I can do is highlight some of the key performances from today that stood out for me. And again, I'm going to echo Nicholas. Kazakhstan, before the contest, I just thought it was a Disney ballad, and I found it kind of boring. But today, watching in the arena, watching it on screen, I got really emotional. I cried. I cried. I haven't cried for Eurovision or Junior Eurovision since maybe Jamala. But this song, I don't know what it is, but on stage it just works. His voice just pierces through. And like Nicholas said, they throw the kitchen sink at us, which some people say could be a bad thing, but for me, I think it's working great. The rehearsal itself, there's still a lot of issues that they're trying to solve. They've got a few lighting issues in some parts, and the timing of another section, I don't want to give too much away, needs some fixing up with illumination and Kazakhstan's artist. I can't pronounce his name because it's Yazim Maxim. For me, what was another standout for me? They're all so good, but Kazakhstan stood out. Albania stood out for me. I like ballads, but I also like my bops as well. I've never been a big fan of Albania at the contest. It's always been kind of hit or miss for me. But Albania did very, very well in their second rehearsal. They only needed a few run-throughs, and it looked very, very clean. So I was very impressed by Albania and the Albanian delegation. I was very surprised.
Well, fantastic. So Albania and Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan seems to be the one universally to look out for, and they are 10th in the running order, which is, I think, something worth noting. It's always nice to have something to, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, because all the performances are good, but to have something that people have selected as a standout kind of like halfway through, because sometimes you can get a little bit of a lull in the middle of even the adult contest. Sometimes you get a group of songs. So before I dig my hole any deeper, talking about that, let's move on. Now, the first thing I do want to do is just pull up on a couple of questions in the chat. One of the chat questions has been actually how to watch Junior Eurovision in the UK, because the UK itself doesn't actually enter. We enter in Wales, and it's S4C. So If you are in the UK, you can watch on S4C. If you have Sky and you flick through to the regional channels that sit at the end of your program listening, you can go to Eurovision.tv to watch it. But also, if you have a smart TV with iPlayer, in actual fact, anyone can watch S4C on iPlayer. And that does tend to mean that you can watch it on catch up on iPlayer as well. And I think you even have the choice of Welsh or English commentary. There we go. Plug done. Right, guys. Are there any other talking points, shall we say, about the rehearsals?
I have a few disappointments.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm quite sad. There was like Malta was one of my favorites going in, and I'm really good friends with Eliana. She's a lovely girl. But the what Malta has, I'm really disappointed this year. People may disagree. It's a great song, and Eliana is a great singer. But the staging this year for Malta is very disappointing, and it leaves me quite saddened.
Do you know what? I'm gonna go over to Nicholas on this, and then I'll go to Stuart. Malta.
Well, see, I would like to say a few words on Malta, but the problem is that I spend most of the time during the Maltese rehearsal waiting for the French delegation, who promised me that they would be back in 5 minutes. They were not back in 5 minutes. So I would just like to say
French time, Nicholas.
I would just like to say a shout out to the head of delegation from France. He's a nice guy. You know, it took us a while. You said you were going to go to lunch. You came back 3 hours later, said you were going to be there like 5 minutes afterwards for the interview. Once you've had another interview, you came back 10 minutes later. But you're still a great guy. Don't worry.
That's a standard French lunch, Nicholas.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
Say, Stuart, what do you make of the Maltese staging?
I think it's fine, actually. I really do. I like Eliana's song. We Are More. It's actually really quite a modern song. I think it's better than the Maltese song last year. So I'm a little bit more hopeful for it than perhaps my colleagues on the panel. I've seen the rehearsals. It was a bit pitchy at times. I think maybe there's a bit of that in what we're saying. But there's plenty of time to perfect that. And quite honestly, she's a great singer. And she deserves to do well. She's seems like a really real character as well. There is one song that I think I'm probably alone, and I probably get a bit of heat for saying this, but I'm not a lover of France. And whilst the song is great and everybody loves it, it's just not my genre. So it's not a particular negative on the song itself or the singer. Both fantastic, just not a personal favourite of mine, albeit lots of people I know absolutely love it, and I'm sure it's going to do famously well.
Oh, Stuart, how can you not like Bim Bam Toi? To be fair, it is my type of song.
Yeah, no, I get it. People love it. It's just we've all got personal opinions on stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's a lot of fun. I think the one thing, I mean, standout rehearsals and everything. I know sometimes we can expect a lot, but I mean, these guys, I mean, the show they put on is absolutely superb. And I think sometimes you look at how young they are, and it's like, I would have trouble at like 13, 14, younger, standing in front of 30 people, let alone thousands of people. They're all amazing.
I tell you, Carla, I don't know how she manages to sing, to dance, but so rapid, because the song's a real energetic, bouncy song. She sings it really well, and she manages to perfect her routine as well. I mean, that deserves all the credit in the world.
She's great. She's great. I just want to say that she is full of energy all the time. Like the interview I did with her, she genuinely seems really, really happy to be there and so excited to be performing and having fun in those 3 minutes. So I think it's just her character. Like she's just made for this.
Oh, she's great. She's great. She
she's really great.
And to be fair, I mean, at the end of the day, let's be honest, that's what we want all of those kids up there to actually have is fun. Because let's face it, that's what it's supposed to be about. You know, they need to be enjoying what they're doing. And I think we're in line for an absolutely fantastic show on Sunday. Now, moving things on, And I'm going to go to Tristan first of all, because he's almost taken a monk's vow of silence over there in light of the rehearsals discussion. The running order. It's been out. We've got Australia kicking the show off. We've got Serbia closing. We've got Wales, special mention, on 9th as well. Who do you think the winners and losers are in the running order, Tristan?
Well, obviously, everyone who's in the second half is a bit of a winner, because apart from, I know that Croatia won the very first Junior Eurovision in 2003 in number 2 place, which is in fact, I think, the only time that in any Eurovision that the number 2 has actually won. And then for the last time that the winner came from the first half was in 2008, and that was Georgia with that Bzz song, that one that was in a made-up language, which I loved actually. That was the first time that the first half winner won, 2008, which is 11 years ago. So everyone in the second half is a winner. Serbia, obviously, coming last. It really helps coming last in this contest. Obviously, last year Poland was last. Georgia was last in 2016. Belarus in 2007. Russia in 2006, and Belarus again in 2005. So that's 5 times that the song placed last has actually gone on to win. So Serbia must be very excited. But the ones that come in early on in the contest, they don't tend to win, but they do tend to do quite well. As I said, the second place has not been too bad. It's not really a death knell. As I said, they won in 2003, but Armenia, I think, have come second twice in the second place. Certainly in 2016, I think they came a close second. And Russia, I think, in 2009 also did well in second place. Bulgaria in 2014. So it's not really too bad at all. I think the big winner for me of the ones that aren't expected to do well, I wasn't expecting to do that well, is probably Netherlands, because Netherlands singing in 14th place. I don't really rate the Netherlands song, the Dutch song, but I think that has actually given it a possible top 5 position where it is, and who it's after. It's after Ukraine, before Armenia. I think that will be a really good place for it. I think Netherlands should come top 5. Other than that, yeah.
So we've got some proper. So and Tristan, you are fantastic with the stats, which is amazing. But I just want to go over to Nicholas as well. Where do you see the running order advantages, shall we say, lying?
Well, I want to bring up a little point that I had with a few other Eurovision journalists the other day when we did the ESC Inside podcast. Curtis was there as well. We talked about how, like, a lot of these like big fan favorites this year, I don't remember who brought it up, but like a lot of these fan favorites are all in the first half. So in that sense, we have a lot of songs that are in a very, they're in the similar playing field, and no one is really like sticking out from one another. Like if we had, let's say, France, if they were performing 18th, they would have a clear advantage, but we don't really see that with many of the fan favorites this year. But I will say, and Tristan brought it up as well, with Serbia, I think that this could really be a help for Serbia, because I've seen Serbia as kind of like, somewhere in between. They could either do really well, or they could just not do as well as everyone expected. I think with this running order, it could just be exactly what they need to get that top five finish, because I think they deserve it. And I'm very excited to see the Serbian rehearsal in full tomorrow, because she's a great singer, and the song is really cool. So I'm very excited to see if it can do what I think it can do.
Okay, so Serbia potentially, are we saying, the biggest winners? Curtis, yes. Australia being drawn first, was that yay or nay, do you think, from an Australian point of view?
Well, from a Eurovision point of view, we all know about what first place means. It's a very tough spot. But from the receptions I've heard from people, everyone seems pretty okay with it. People think that Jordan might be able to pull this off. So yeah, so we're pretty happy about that. I also want to mention another thing that we also discussed with ESC Inside as well, and a few other press groups, is when you look at the running order, it goes Malta, Kazakhstan, Poland, if I'm correct. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
Malta, Wales. Don't forget Wales. Malta,
Okay.
Wales, Kazakhstan, Poland.
Okay, yeah. And some have suggested that there may be a potential favouring or a crescendo to Poland. So that's one thing to watch out for as well, is that little area as well, the Malta, Wales, Kazakhstan and Poland is a very interesting area to look at. So yeah.
Okay. And Stuart, any comments on the running order that you can pull out?
Only that I think the first half is a lot stronger than the second half, in my opinion. I think over the years I've become less interested about running orders. I know, yeah, the later you are, the better you do in general terms. But you know, if the song is strong enough, if the performance is strong enough, it connects with the viewers, it connects with the audience, it will see it through. And that's what I think it comes down to. When I listen to all 19 songs and when I watch all 19 rehearsals, there is one song which I think, if it's nailed 100% accurate and with the right vigor and success on the night, it will see it through to a potential win out of, quite frankly, nowhere. And that song for me is Yezim from Kazakhstan, because if he hits that note, and he is doing it at rehearsal, by the way, if he hits that note toward the latter part of the song perfectly on point and for the length of time, I can see Kazakhstan getting a win. And I actually really like the song. The staging's a bit Disney. You know, kind of, there's a bit of Beauty and the Beast in it for me, which I love. I really like the coat he's wearing. It's all a bit kind of the Beast, and you know, the staging of it's fab. So I think Kazakhstan can do this. And let's face it, they're not towards the latter part of the draw. They're in the early part of the draw. But that's a song for me that I think is one to watch from the early part of the draw. From the latter part of the draw, Serbia for sure.
Okay, and just because we've had some questions on the ESC chat, I'm going to throw this one to Nicholas. How is the running order determined at Junior Eurovision?
Yes, so we had it at the opening ceremony, where I unfortunately couldn't take part because my flight got delayed. But basically, the host country pick their place. So in this case, this year's was Roxana, last year's winner, going on stage, and she picked that Poland had to perform 11th. They then have to pick who performs first and who performs last, and the rest of those in between are decided by the producers. In the old days, a few years ago, the kids would draw if they were going to perform in the first or the second half, but they don't do that anymore. So everything other than host country first and last is determined by the producers, which, by the way, might I just add, this year is the first time in 5 years that the production is 100% local. This is all being produced by TVP of Poland, and they're doing a fantastic job so far, I must say.
Which is brilliant. Do you know what? I find it very interesting. Just that, you know, you have to wonder. I don't know, we're talking primarily about Junior Eurovision, but given the fact that the first and last slots are so controversial, I think in both contests, I think Junior and Adult Eurovision, whether that's something that maybe the adult contest could perhaps learn from its junior counterpart, maybe. I'm going to go across to Stuart, who has another point to offer.
So there's another song as well, which I forgot to mention earlier, which actually stands a really good chance. By the way, Australia could do really well from being first. I think it's a good song to start the show and kick the show off, and people will remember it, and they'll remember it because of Jordan's vocal ability, and the song itself is really strong. The song in 14th, I think, could do really well. I'm going to remind myself what that song
The
is
Ne-
now.
the
The
Netherlands.
Netherlands. I should stop drinking wine when I do these shows. So the Netherlands with the song Mateo. The reason that could do really well is it's quite an upbeat number. Within sort of a lot of kind of ballad type songs, and on the right side of the board, and it looks good as well. Visually, it's very appealing. There's a really good routine, and he performs it really well. I mean, the two guys could probably tell me better about how he performs it live, but from what I've seen, it looks pretty good to me. And it's at the right side of the board in terms of placing, positioning, and Netherlands have just come off a win at Eurovision. Could they go and repeat that with a win at Junior Eurovision? Wouldn't that be fab?
We'll let you know how it goes this rehearsal tomorrow.
I suppose here's the valid question. If they did the double, and someone's going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, would it be the first time the double has been achieved?
Yes.
Something to look out for. That could be very interesting. Now, what we need to do, guys, is move on to some predictions. And I'm going to be totally self-interested in it because, like last year, I tuned into Junior Eurovision. It was the first time ever there was a participant from the UK for like 15 years or something silly since ITV dropped it. And Wales came out and they sung and I cheered, and then the scores rolled in and Wales's really didn't. So the first country I want to tackle is Wales. Are Wales going to better last year's last place? Let's go over to Tristan.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's a really sweet song. It's been written by the John Lillygreen, I think, or who did Life Looks Better in Spring. So produced by John Lillygreen, but also I think it's written by John Gregory and Sylvia Strand, I think, who are also part of the Islanders. It's a lovely song. It is quite similar to Peter from last year, but I think Erin is going to just deliver a much better version, and it's going to end up mid-table at least.
Okay, moving on to Curtis. Where do you think Wales are going to come this year?
Well, everyone wants it to do better, but I'm not sure. Personally, I'm sorry, I'm not the biggest fan of Wales. It's an alright song. It's nice to listen to, and it's a little groovy. So it's one of my lower songs personally, and it being Wales as well.
I think is it going to come last or not? I think that's what we're after. Would you say they're getting the wooden spoon again, or would you say they're going to actually better their performance?
Well, it's not my last place. There's one song which is definitely last place, and I feel many people have the song last place as well. So hopefully it's at least second to last or better.
Okay, and finally, Nicholas, on the subject of Wales, what are we thinking?
I'm a bit torn on this one because I do want Wales to do well. While it may not be one of my favorites, I think Erin is lovely. I'm looking forward to hopefully talking to her tomorrow. And it's nice to see Wales in this competition. It's nice to hear the language, but we need to remember that online voting, which is a thing in Junior Eurovision, plays a big role here. And remember, in the online voting, you can vote for your own country. And I think there was not a lot of people watching the final in Wales last year. And of course, that does mean something. They are a small country. They don't have many neighbors who can give them jury points. They're very much relying on this online vote. And I mean, look at someone like Ireland, who usually doesn't do that well in the online voting. I think they'll do way better this year because they've, Anna and her team have been like so out there promoting her song, letting people know how you can vote. So I'm sure or at least a good bit of Ireland will be behind her, voting for her, making sure she does well in this contest. I feel like S4C, they don't do enough promoting the entry to the Welsh people or to the whole of UK for that matter, so they could get some votes. So I worry that they may struggle because of that, and not necessarily because of the song.
Okay, that's going to be interesting to to keep an eye on. Another entry that I'd like to actually cover some specific predictions for before we go on to predictions of winners and so on. And I'm going to come to Stuart first. Is Australia? Where do you think when the shuffle happens, are they coming away with the crown? Are they coming top 5? Are they coming mid-table? What do we think?
Well, it's a very interesting point that Curtis has raised, and so has Nicholas, regarding online voting. And the fact that Australia are not showing it live, which really plays a massive part in how Australia performs in terms of the scoring. You know, I kind of guess they'll be around mid-table in terms of the online vote, because the song's strong and Jordan is really strong. And I think with the juries, it could be as high as maybe, as official ESC said, I completely agree on the chat. He said between second and fourth with the juries. I agree with that, which kind of means that probably we're looking somewhere between 6th and 10th for Australia. But it deserves higher, and that's the point. Yeah, maybe, just maybe, if Australia was showing it live, and it was on at a time when everyone was up, because let's face it, 4 a.m. in the morning, who's going to watch it? Unless you're a hardened fan. Nobody's getting up at 4 a.m. to watch Eurovision, whether it's an adult or junior competition. But yeah, going to play a big part in it, unfortunately, for Australia. Great song, though, and great performer.
And Louise, who's watching on YouTube, shout out to her, agrees with you as well, Stuart. Australia will score highly in the jury, as always, but the online vote, not so much. And she says hey to everyone, and we're going to say hello to you as well, Louise.
Hello.
Hello. So, covered Wales, covered Australia, but I think the one thing that I would like to throw out there is who we think the winners of the contest may be. What are our... And you know what? I feel like I need to be kind to the panel this evening. So I'm going to go for top 3 in any order. And if you want to pick a winner, that's absolutely fine, because they're all winners. So who would like to volunteer to go first?
Well, I can easily do it because I've already done this on the show. So I can say what I've said on... I can say what I've said on the last Junior Eurovision show we did before I was traveling to Poland. I have 3 countries I'm looking at. I think I've said 3 at least. I am looking at Spain, I'm looking at Kazakhstan, and I'm looking at Poland. These are 3 countries that I think, if they won't win, they'll at least be in the top 3. And I am almost 100% certain that at least one of these 3 songs, if not all, will be in the top 3.
So could we be looking at a double, but not as we said it before, but a double in terms of
think,
Poland?
You know, Vicky performing 11th, having, you know, the whole country behind her, having Universal Poland behind her. This could very well happen. And you know what TVP has already said? If they win again, they're ready to host it again. So maybe I'll be here again next year. Who knows?
So it's an interesting, and just to throw out there as well, Nicholas, would this be the first time any country has won Junior Eurovision twice on the bounce as well?
Yes, it would. Georgia, some would say, were close to it. I think they came second in 2017 when they were hosting. So they are the ones who have gotten the closest, as far as I'm aware. But no one has won 2 years in a row so far.
Interesting. Big shout out to loads of people on YouTube, Facebook. They're watching there. There's loads of comments coming in at the moment. Do you know what? Can we just do a big hello to all of them, please? I know we did a hello to Louise, but let's do a hello to all of them as well. Hello!
Hello!
Hey! And they're coming in with their top 3s as well. And if you check out the very bottom of your screen, you can see that some of your messages are being displayed there as well. Curtis, just a bit higher with the That's it. There we go.
Yeah, I'm
Just,
ready.
just about there.
Basically under Curtis.
Just yeah.
Yeah, just there. Curtis, moving on with you. What are your top 3 countries for Sunday?
That is a very hard question to ask. It has kept moving and moving. Before the contest, I had a top 3. Now, I don't know. I've got like a top 6. It's so hard. I'm just going to list through some that jump to my mind. Spain, definitely. Kazakhstan has jumped up for me and is one of my top favorites now. Poland is, when I first heard Poland, I thought it was a winner straight away. And North Macedonia is such a unique song and such an amazing artist. So those are just some of my favorite mentions that I don't have a winner. They're all winners for me. Like,
Yeah. Sometimes it can be tough to nail it down, can't it? I mean, I know that. Looking at it, Tristan, you're never shy of and I mean this nicely. You're never shy away of differing from the crowd slightly when it comes to your choices. What are you thinking in terms of the top 3?
Okay, I mean, first of all, my personal top three is Poland first, second Armenia, and third Kazakhstan, with Spain very, very closely in fourth. As for what I think the top 3 will be, I still think Poland will win it, but I think Netherlands will come second because of their excellent draw. And I think third is probably going to be Armenia. It could be Kazakhstan. I'm just not sure whether Kazakhstan and Spain are going to. Obviously, people can vote for more than one country, but I think maybe the juries may end up sort of like giving their top part marks. Obviously, they'll be split. They'll be split. I think because they're quite similar. Well, they're not similar, but they're both opera sort of style, classical music. But yeah, I mean, I think Poland will walk it, and that's what I said last year as well.
And do you know what? It's interesting listening to what you're saying, Tristan. That we've spent a lot of time this evening talking about Kazakhstan, but I'm looking at the comments that are coming through in terms of the top 3. So we've got AM Rafiki mentioning France, Poland, and Spain, and after rehearsals, France, Armenia, Netherlands. We've also got David Ray mentioning Spain, Ireland, and Poland. Honourable mentions for France, North Macedonia, and Ukraine. It's interesting to note that lots of people don't seem to be mentioning Kazakhstan at this stage, which makes me think that if they were to do something, it could be quite a surprise on the night. And we all love a good.
I just want to say, like, I feel like the people talking about Kazakhstan mainly are the ones of us down here, the ones who have seen the performance now in full on the screen. So I think you're in for a surprise. Let me just say it like that.
Which is, and that is part of the Eurovision experience, isn't it? Let's be perfectly honest. We love a good surprise. Now, Stuart, don't think I haven't forgotten you. What are we thinking, my friend? Top 3?
Have I really only got to give you 3? I could give you 19.
No, you're not allowed. That's not in the rules. That's not what it's about. Just 3.
It's harder not to be a shady bitch on when you're talking about Junior Eurovision, So I got to be on my best behaviour. So there are some really, really, really good songs. My top 3 in no particular order. Okay. Spain, Ireland.
No. Spain and Ireland.
Okay, if I got to pick one. So I've got so many sort of strokes here, right? Spain. I can't tell between half of these. So okay, I'm gonna go Spain because I think the staging of Spain with the sea scene and she's caught in the net is fabulous. I'm gonna go North Macedonia because I think North Macedonia is fire, literally. And I think the song, I'm going to make a prediction now that will win Junior Eurovision this year will be Kazakhstan. And I said it from the moment I heard it. The rehearsals have just made me feel even more convinced that Kazakhstan are going to get their first Eurovision victory. And I really, really think it's a fabulous, fabulous song. And he's fabulous.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, in actual fact, we've got quite a lot of, I think, differing predictions. I think is the word I'd use. David Ray's got a question for Nicholas. Which countries will be the dark horse of 2019?
I think for me, like I said in the beginning, I think Armenia is the one that surprised me the most, because I feel like a lot of us have forgotten about the song because it was so long ago that it was chosen. So that's one. But also another one, which is one of those I'm very excited to see tomorrow, is Ukraine. The first version of Ukrainian song was not really anything for me, but like after they released the full version, the song has just been growing and growing. And Sophia seems like a fantastic performer. She was in the press center today for, I think, like it felt like almost 2 hours. She was there for a long time, just like talking to as much press as possible, singing and having a lovely chat with everyone. I didn't get to talk to her because I was busy with a lot of other stuff, but I think that really could be a dark horse to take, because they have friends who can vote for them in both the online voting and the jury voting, so it'll be interesting to see.
Okay, and Tristan, just coming back to you on Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I really, really do hope that Stuart's right and that Kazakhstan do win it, even though it's not my favourite, simply because it's going to mean that there's going to be a lot more pressure on the EBU to invite Kazakhstan to the Eurovision adult, which I would love to see, because there's some fantastic artists in Kazakhstan. My favourite being Keshu, but there's lots of others that they could have. So that would be fantastic if we had Kazakhstan to win Junior Eurovision. The pressure would be huge on John Olasand or whoever replaces him.
Ah, interesting. Now, Curtis, you've got a funny story about Kazakhstan, but your price for doing that is having to answer the latest question that's come in from YouTube, which is again from David Ray, and it's what are your thoughts on, it's a country we've not talked about, what are your thoughts on Portugal's chances this year?
Unfortunately, Portugal isn't one of my most favorite songs. However, it could do quite well because it's the Junior Eurovision Song Contest, and Portugal's song really fits the theme for me of Junior Eurovision. It's a really kid-friendly song, and Joanna has a very bubbly personality, so she could surprise us and do quite well. So you never know.
And your funny story on Kazakhstan?
Yes, so I was able to catch up with Kazakhstan, and I can't say his name, Yezerm. He is a funny lad. Anyway, I was talking to their head of press, and I was like, I'd love to go to Kazakhstan one day. And, if they happen to do well, it might be sooner than I think. So, yeah.
You could find yourself invited to Kazakhstan,
yes,
which would be really exciting. And we would obviously, I feel the opportunity for a show coming on
I'd love to visit Kazakhstan. Just put that out there. I
Okay.
want to go. I want to go and meet Borat.
Yeah.
Oh dear. And for those people that are tuning in from elsewhere, Borat was a comedy character developed by Sacha Baron Cohen on British television.
It's a film as well.
Well, there's a film, but
I mean, the film is known in Denmark. That's where we know him from. So I think most of the rest of the world knows Borat from the film.
Let me just say, Stuart, that if you do end up going to Kazakhstan, if they see that footage, they probably won't let you give you a visa.
I'll have to just bring my green mankini.
No, just no. Let's no. So, guys, I think we've come to almost the end of tonight's show. What I would like to do on behalf of everyone at ESC Fan TV is to wish all the contestants in this year's Junior Eurovision Song Contest the very, very, very best of luck. We are rooting for every single one of you, and we look forward to discussing the results in our what do we call it? not a preview show. What's the opposite of a preview show, Stuart?
Review.
A review show. That's the one. Which is taking place, Stuart, on
Sunday night, straight after the final. Well, not quite straight after. We'll have a few drinks first. It's 9 p.m. Central European time, Tom.
Excellent. So we're going to be back doing a review Sunday at 8 p.m. In the meantime, Nicholas will be updating us from Poland continuously with lots of interviews soon to go live. Curtis also for OJ Australia. Lots of content. Where can they go if they want to see some of your fabulous content, Curtis?
Yeah, so we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as well. And you can find us with OGAE_Australia.
Fantastic. Now, what leaves me to do next is to say a massive thank you to my panelists this evening. A big thanks to Tristan.
Thank you.
A big thanks to Curtis.
Thank you.
Thanks to Nicholas.
Thank you.
And as always, a big thank you to my co-host, the wonderful Stuart.
Thanks, Tom. Great show. And I cannot wait to review who wins Junior Eurovision in Poland on a Sunday evening. It's going to be amazing.
There will be fire. Quite literally.
If it's North Macedonia, there will be fire.
It's the North Macedonia entry. There will be fire. So don't forget, like, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. New content coming every day this week, live from Poland. From Nicholas. Don't forget to also check out our friends at OJ Australia, and we'll be back live 9 p.m. Central European time. That's 8 p.m. BST, or GMT. Now, that's also 7 a.m. Australian time if you fancy watching it. And we will see you then. But from all of us now, goodbye. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.